It's finally here, one of the darkest moments in the whole story. Except it was changed quite a bit for House of Dragon Season 2. It wasn't a very well kept secret that the premiere would revolve around the Blood and Cheese murder, with an episode title like A Son for a Son. A line Daemon Targaryen famously writes to Rhaenyra, promising vengeance for her loss. The supplementary lore book Fire and Blood that this prequel is adapting would usually give a couple different perspectives on what exactly went down during these crazy times, but some of the character perspectives would contradict themselves. Not once did we hear about Daemon going to King's Landing in secret at the very beginning of the war to get Aemond killed. I did find one line about the target possibly originally being King Aegon, but the Kingsguard made that task impossible. Daemon always wanted a son for a son, but killing Aemond would require a lot of prep work. A baby is much easier. These two guys are not the same Blood and Cheese we read about in the lore books. As crazy as this sounds, House of Dragon's adaptation is a lot more tame, except for that dog kick. What the hell was that for? This big guy here, only remembered as Blood, has some more backstory than some would think. Daemon, using his old connections in the capital along with his old spymaster pal, were able to find a sergeant in the city, big and brutal. He had lost his gold cloak for beating a whore to death whilst in a drunken rage. From that point on, Blood worked as a butcher in Flea Bottom, the roughest and sketchiest part of town. The other, a rat catcher in the Red Keep. Their true names are lost. They're remembered as Blood and Cheese. In House of the Dragon, Blood still patrols the streets of King's Landing as a gold cloak. One small line in the books I was wondering if they were going to bother with was little Joffrey Valerion swearing an oath of vengeance against Prince Aemond and Lord Boros for the death of his big brother. This brat is probably still learning how to read, but had to be restrained by Corlys Valerion and Rhaenys before he mounted his dragon and flew off on his own. Obviously, this got cut. In both mediums, Rhaenyra was too distraught to act, leaving Daemon to move freely. The show writers leave it up to our own interpretation on what Daemon's reply was to Blood and Cheese if they couldn't find Aemond. It wouldn't be out of his character to say just kill any green male you can get your hands on. What exactly Helaena sees in her dragon dreams may also be left a mystery. She mentioned fearing rats, but did she see her child's fate? Her visions could all very well be shown to her through symbolism like some other Targaryens. These hidden doors and secret tunnels that Maegor the Cruel had built were as familiar to the rat catcher as the rats he had hunted. Using a forgotten passageway, Cheese led Blood into the heart of the castle, unseen by any guard. Rats within the castle had been a very clear theme in the first and now second season. Once inside the royal apartments, Cheese bound and gagged the Dowager Queen Alicent, whilst Blood strangled her bedmaid. Then they settled down to wait, for they knew it was the custom of Queen Helaena to bring her children to see their grandmother every evening before bed. A minor change in the show, but the next part is not so minor. In the lore, Helaena walks in accompanied by her 3 children. 6-year-old twins Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, and 2-year-old Prince Maelor. Baby Maelor is completely scrapped from the show, and with him, the part that makes Blood and Cheese so disturbing. Cheese tells Helaena they are debt collectors. An eye for an eye, a son for a son. We only want the one to square things. We won't hurt the rest of you fine folks. Not one little hair. Which one you want to lose, your grace? Helaena is forced to choose which one of her sons will be killed. And if she doesn't choose, her 6-year-old daughter would be assaulted in front of her, and the rest would be killed. On her knees, weeping, Helaena named her youngest Maelor. Perhaps she thought the boy was too young to understand, or perhaps it was because the older boy Jaehaerys was King Aegon's firstborn son and heir, next in line to the Iron Throne. You hear that, little boy, Cheese whispered to Maelor. Your mama wants you dead. Then he gave Blood a grin, and the hulking swordsman slew Prince Jaehaerys, striking off the boy's head with a single blow. The queen began to scream. See, a whole lot darker. I thought for sure Cheese would still make Helaena choose which one of her kids would die in House of the Dragon, but just replace Maelor with Jaehaera. Helaena was unsettlingly stoic because of whatever issues she deals with in House of the Dragon. Right after one traumatic scene, she runs off to the next thing to haunt her dreams. Criston Cole with Alicent, instead of doing his duty as a Lord Commander of the Green's Kingsguard. As of right now, I don't love this relationship. It's just not all that believable. Breaking his vow and sleeping with Rhaenyra almost made Criston Cole take his own life in the first season. Alicent sells feet time for Larys. But this seems like a line her religious self wouldn't cross. The only thing that makes this relationship interesting is creepy old Larys Strong. He's actively making bigger power moves in the Game of Thrones. He personally took it upon himself to get rid of any serving men or women at court that may have any allegiance towards Rhaenyra. And then, put people of his own choosing to care for and be by the Green's side day and night, including Alicent's maids. Being the master of whispers, I'm sure he already suspects what's going on between the Lord Commander and Dowager Queen. I just don't know why he hasn't took part in any small council meetings. Maybe he hasn't been promoted from Royal Confessor to Master of Whispers yet, but he's digging his claws into King Aegon, so he'll be in his ear from here on out. The premiere as a whole was fine. This is one of those moments where I need to see a lot more play out to have a solid opinion. Jace's time in the North was super rushed, when the moments in Winterfell should have been expanded upon, not shortened. Though what they're doing with his character is nice. Aegon's cheery attitude shows how confident he is as of episode 1. The Green's king and queen are about to change forever after the beheading of their son. Aegon was all smiles after Aemon's attack, but we likely won't see him happy for a long time. Sorry, no reviews out of me until the finale in 7 weeks. Just more of these topic-focused discussions. Thanks for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you later.